everyone, this is Debbie from Ink and Page, and I am here with video 2 in our Haunted Bookcase series. If this is the first video you're seeing, you want to hop back one video. So down in the description, I will put the link to the playlist, and I will also link the project in my Etsy shop, and you can pick that up there. Okay, in this video, we're going to be focusing on ephemera, and we're going to make books like these guys here. And we're going to make flowers like these here, and we're going to style our bats as well. So there's lots of stuff, lanterns too, so we have a lot of stuff going on in this video. Okay, so I'm going to hop right in, and this is my little book box. What you're going to need for this is you're either going to need your own book paper. This is just some encyclopedia paper that from an old encyclopedia. Or in the kit, you have these, okay? All right, and you're gonna need to cut your strips here. This is for the small book, okay? For the small book, you need strips that are just about 1.5 inches, okay? And I found these, like, you just find the mark on your cutting board, and you can just slice through these. I did like 4 pages at once, and I had more strips than I could use this year, so. Okay, and then once you have these into the 1.5 inch strip, this is for the small book, okay? And then for the big book, if you were doing the big book, make sure you just measure it really quick. It should be 2 inches, but measure it just to be sure before you cut your strips, because if your printer is slightly different than mine, it could be off a little bit. Just so you know, these are 2 inches. These are 1.5 inches, okay? So those are the 2 dimensions you have to remember. So you're either cutting out a 1.5 inch strip, or you're cutting out a 2 inch strip, okay? And once you have the strips, you're gonna need to fold them, okay? And the fastest way to fold them, I think, is this. I have this method is like Tim Holtz's method, and he demoed it in a video not too long ago, and he's going to do it again, I think. But what he did is he got a piece of he has a piece of chipboard. I tried chipboard and it didn't work for me, so I have a piece of cardstock that is the width of my pages. Okay, this is the width of the pages of like 1 page here. See, like this, it's the width here, and it happens to be 1 inch for this book. And all you do is you just take this, okay, and you put it on there, and then you fold this, and then you pull it out, okay, and then you do that, and you fold it, and you pull it behind, and then you fold it, and you pull it behind, and then you just keep going until the whole entire strip of paper is folded. Now, when I used the chipboard, what I found happened was, because the chipboard's thick, it just made it so that the paper was too, it was too wide in the end when it was folded. So I like this. So that's why I'm using the cardstock. The cardstock isn't as durable. It's probably going to get lost or whatever, but this is just a scrap piece of cardstock. And what happens is that when you go to put this in the book, I find that it fits really, really well on these books. The books that he did in his video are the books from, he used books from like the Ideology, like ephemera pack, or I can't remember which pack it was, but one of the packs has book covers in it. And so he was using those, but these are the ones in this kit, and they are a little bit different size. So this ended up working out better for me in the end, because it was less trimming to do afterward. Okay, so what we're going to do here is, once you have these all accordion folded, like so, you're going to just stack these up. When I did this, I did like 4 at a time. You see how this is like 4 at a time here? Oh, this is 4 at a time. I folded 4 at a time. You can fold 4 at a time, and then I figured out I need about, depending on the weight of your paper, this is very thin paper, so I need about 6 of these little 6 strips total, okay, because you want to separate them once you've got them all folded. Okay, thank you. Okay, and I need 6 of these little packs. Okay, so I have 4 here. And I'm just going to fold this one up and fold this one up. This, okay. And then what you want to do is you want to tap it against here to get it straight on on one side, okay? You don't have to really worry about the other sides. I like to kind of get it straight on one side here and one side here, okay? And then once you have it like all the way that you want it, all right, you're going to just pinch it and you're going to get a clip and you're going to clip it just like this, okay? And then, so this is what you're going to have, is this here, and this side's going to be clipped, okay? Now you're going to take your glue gun or your glue. It does not matter. You don't have to use a glue gun. I'm going to use a glue gun because this is a video. If you use glue, you have to let it dry. So that's why I'm using a glue gun in this video. I wouldn't have, I wouldn't have time to let everything dry. So I don't love glue guns, but for this, it does work pretty good because it is fast. Okay, so basically what we're going to do is we're going to just add the glue in here, and you want to kind of like make sure that it's like fanned out. So the glue is essentially going into the little crevices where all the pages are, okay? And don't worry, if it's not perfect, you can go back and you can add to it. Then once you have that done, you want to take it and you're just going to like drag it along a surface. This is like glass mat, okay? You want to drag it along a surface that's like smooth and slick so that you can peel the glue off once it dries. Okay, this comes off really easy off the glass mat. It just peels right up. But that creates like a flat edge here, and it's pretty nice for when you're going to put it in your book, okay? So I'm going to get my book. I know I wanted to do, where's the one I wanted to do? I definitely want to do that one. I'm going to do a couple of these so you can see the whole situation go. This is the one I wanted. Okay, this is Dracula. Okay, so then what we're going to do is we're going to put this in here. Now you can see these are way too big. They're too big because I use the chipboard method, okay? So, and for some reason when I did it, the chipboard method did not work for me, okay? So, if you use the this method with the cardstock, it seemed to make them smaller. Okay, it's not a big deal either way though, okay? And I don't like to overstuff mine with pages. Some people do like to you could. You can if you want. I just didn't like the overstuffed ones. So I feel like even though this is not like super fat, it's enough for me. It makes the books the way that I like them, and it makes them easy to, style on the bookshelf. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to put glue in here. Okay, and then I'm going to stick my little book block in here. Okay, and I'm just going to push it down into there as best as I can, just so that it's all the way in there. Okay, and all the way in there. Okay, and then once it's in there pretty well, it dries pretty fast, okay? Occasionally, you're going to end up with a loose page or something that didn't get glue. It's not a big deal. You can just either stick it back in there, add a little bit of glue onto it, stick it back in, just take it out. It's not like a big deal. But you see how the pages, like, they fan out once you open them? So, like, for me, it wasn't that big of a deal that, that it's not like overstuffed. If you want it to be overstuffed, just put more pages in. I just found them harder to work with when they had the pages. Okay, now, once you've got everything glued in and everything the way that you like it, this page has gold edging on it. You see that? That's crazy. It was from the encyclopedia. So now you're just going to take scissors and you're going to just trim these, okay? These scissors, these, what do you call these? I don't know. Are they called, I don't know what they're, oh, recoil scissors. That's what they're called. I was going to say, what are they called? They're perfect for this job. They make it so easy. Just cut right along there. And I'm just cutting away the excess. And I'm just taking a couple at a time. It's disaster city. Trust me if you try to do them all at once. You could also use a knife and a ruler to do this. Knives and rulers are not my jam. I'll just be honest with you. Like, that is not, I'm not good at that. Like, I see people cut their printables out like that. And I'm like, what? I do not have that level of skill or patience with stuff. Okay, so now we have our little book. Ta-da! This is Dracula. Not really, but pretend it is. Oops, see like how that one flew out? Don't even worry about it. Sometimes it happens because like not every single page gets glued in. What I did with these when they fly out is what I'm going to ink the edge here of this. And I'm going to have it like stick out of the book like it's an old rotty, you know, like, you know how books pages fall out if they're too old. So I'm just going to see that. I used a glue stick to glue mine back in last time because these are just, they're for decoration, right? They're not for actual reading. So they're not going to be like taken off the bookshelf. Like I'm going to glue mine onto the bookshelf. So like, that's why you don't have to like super stress out about this. Okay, so then what I'm going to do is take like a sanding disc and go on the edges of everything with the sanding disc. This is my method. This is no longer Tim Holtz's method. He just came up with this whole accordion book page situation. I have adapted it to my preference, which is basically, you know, I feel like you guys should also, like, you could watch his video, you could watch a bunch of mini book videos, because there's probably a ton of ways to make these, and it doesn't matter which way you use, and which method you use, right? I like it when a little bit of the book is roughed up and kind of sticking out a little bit. I just think it looks great. I don't know why, but I do. So see, this one I put more pages into, so you can kind of vary it, like, by your personal preference. I'm going to do another one of these, because I had to watch his video a few times, because I've only ever made these little tiny books, like, with that accordion style, where you attach one to this side and one to this side, so that, like, the pages kind of fan out when you open them. But I really love this idea, because you can get so many more pages in there, and it, like, looks so good, right? I mean, I just think it looks great. So I'm just going to do like 6, I don't know, we'll see how many I do. I'll do it just really depends on the weight of your paper. Like, some of these papers have like that weird gold edge. And they're heavier than the other papers. So I guess I could take them out, but I'm not going to, because I think it's cool that they, oops, is this one going the wrong way? You could also accordion fold these without using the little cheater method here. I just found this was really consistent and easier to get a straight edge. It takes a few minutes to get the hang of it. Like, I tried a whole bunch. I tried scoring the paper. That is a waste of time. So yeah. So I tried all different ways to do it, and I would encourage you to try different ways to do it too, just in case you're like, this is not working for me, and I don't want you to be frustrated, you know? Okay, let's put a couple more on here. And you can also, like, before you actually glue the book block, whoops, you can test it out in there, like this. And you can be like, do I like it? Do I want to have one more? You know, it's just, you can just kind of feel it out, you know? That's what this is all about. It's like kind of figuring it out, figuring out what you like, all that sort of thing. Ooh, wait. Okay, I have two. I'm going to put the gold pages next to each other since I have two of them. Okay, so now I'm just going to tap this gently. I like to let the pages expand because that lets everything fall down that needs to fall down. I had a couple abject failures when I first started this because I couldn't figure it like out exactly right. You know, it took a minute to get the hang of it. Okay, so I'm going to clip this side. Okay, and now I have this side that's all fanned out, and that's the side that I'm going to, that does not look straight to me. Let me try that one more time. Okay, let's try that again. It's probably not going to look straight when it's fanned out, but okay. All right, so now I'm going to get my glue gun. Okay. And I'm just going to go in between all of these little lines here. Okay, and you do have to work kind of fast because of the glue, which is why I said you can go back if you need to. And be careful because you'll touch hot glue. And then just gently drag it along here. Don't push down, just pull it across. Because basically what you're looking for is just to flatten out the glue and then get off the excess, you know, so that it can go right up against the back. Okay, and then if you have any, I didn't mention this before, if you have any like overhanging glue, which I don't really have it, the first few that I did, I had overhanging glue. But I've gotten a lot better at it now, and I don't have too much overhanging glue. So, all right, so you can peel that off your mat or whatever like nonstick surface you have, like if you have a silicone mat or something like that. Okay, so now we can take this and put it into our little book, and I'll have to trim it. Here we go. And that is that. Like these, like once you start making these, you're just gonna want to keep making them. Like I want to keep making them right now. This will be my last one because we have other things we have to make in this video too. So, but yeah, so that's basically the whole process. And now I'm just gonna trim this off just like before. You don't have to like, you know, worry about too much about getting it right because you can just trim. And I was nervous about this part because I thought it was going to be hard. It is not hard at all. You just cut it right there like that. And you can just trim any overage. There we go. And I like to leave like some of it too because I think, I don't know, it makes the books look more raggedy and old. Like the pages are falling out and messed up. So, oops. If you push down hard and try to cut, doesn't work. So just FYI on that one. My instinct is to push down on it, but that is not it. It makes it harder to cut if you push like this. Okay, so I'm going to move those out of here. I am going to just use the sanding disc here. You could use sandpaper, you know, or you don't have to do anything at all. You know, I just like to mess it up on the edges a little bit. And then I just run the ink. I'm not inking this before I do this. I'm just using what's on the inker from the last time I used it. So I get like a faded kind of look as well. And I did ink all of the books around the edges first as well. Okay, so that guy is going in with our other books, and I'm going to put my little book box away because I'm sure I will be seeing it again. But this just keeps all that stuff together. Okay, so let's do really quickly. We're just going to roll up some scrolls here, and you can do the scrolls or not do the scrolls. You can do or not do any of these. You know, you don't have to do them if you don't want to. I tried to put, I'm trying to remember what books I put on the scrolls. I know I put like Frankenstein, Dracula, Sleepy Hollow, and I think I have a blank one. I'm missing one, I think. I don't remember what, all of them, but I'll think of it because I had to look up all the text. Okay, so basically I'm just going to ink the edge of this, and then I'm just going to roll it up. This little pencil right here, it's a wax pencil. I printed the text on the back of mine. And then I'm just going to roll my little scroll up. And then you can roll it. You can make it like as long or short as you want. Okay, so where did I put my scissors? I'm going to cut it right here, and then I'll just glue it shut. And then we can tie a ribbon around it. I have glue on my fingers. Okay. I'm going to go for the hot glue again, just because of the expediency here. Just roll that right over to try to avoid getting your fingers involved in that. Okay, and then now we've got ourselves a nice little scroll, and you can squish it up a little bit. Make sure that it mess it up. We can do the you can also just scrape it up a little, you know, and then we'll just ink it up. It's like the thing about this kind of stuff is like you can just keep doing and like undoing things, like, you know, ink it, scrape it up, ink it, scrape it up, you know, and that's what in the end gets you the, you know, the look that you want. Okay, so I'm gonna do this one too. Oh, you know what I'm gonna do on this one though? Let me see if, oh, I have it right here. I have my paper distresser. So let's go ahead and like really distress these edges before we roll them up. I guess I probably don't need to do that edge, but and then that way this will just look a little bit different. I use like all different colored papers in the background so that when they're all together, they don't all look exactly the same. Okay. And we're just going to do this. And then after this, I'll show you how to do the flowers and the bats. I'm trying to keep it moving along here just so that, you know, it's not like a jillion hours of videos to watch. Okay, so let's do this here. I'm going to roll this up around this. I have better luck when I roll it up around something. You know, your mileage may vary. Okay, so I'm going to cut this here. I'm going to do the end of this. And then whatever left from this you can save and use for other bits and pieces in this project. Okay. Just be careful if you're using the glue gun. I've burned my fingers so many times today. But between today and yesterday, it's been rough. Okay, so I'm going to roll this one over here. Like this. Just going to get the excess glue off of here. So I have two. I'm going to do this guy too. Okay. Oops. Just a little bit of ink on that. Okay, I think we need to do 3 though, because I don't like even numbers when I'm doing like stuff like this. It's like 3 or 5. I just want to have like lots of fun stuff to put in here, to put onto the bookshelf, you know, in addition to all of our books. I'm gonna go around here. Okay. I'm gonna roll this guy up now. This I probably didn't need to do 3 times, but I want to have 3 scrolls, so okay, so I'm gonna do that, and then I'm gonna do this. Okay. That was probably way too much hot glue, just for the record there. Okay, I'm just gonna roll that right over, and I'm just gonna pull off what I don't put on there. Although it does make it look a little crusty. Okay, there's that. Okay, now just a little bit of extra ink on here. Okay, so now I have 3 scrolls for my bookcase. So I'm gonna put these aside so I can make more later if I need to. Okay, let's talk about how to do these little flowers, okay? What you're gonna need from the kit are these little round circles, these little flowers, okay? Or you can punch them out if you have your own punch. It doesn't matter what you use. You just need some kind of flower base. There's also a Tim Holtz die, I think it's called Tiny Tattered Florals, that makes shapes like this as well. I'm sure there are tons of dies out there that make shapes like this, not just that die, but I was just thinking off the top of my head that I think he does have a small one. I just used the ones that came in the kit. I punched a couple with the punches that I have just to make sure that they would turn out okay, and they're fine. You just want to try to get small ones if you can. If you can't, then just use whatever you've got. Okay, the second thing you need is one of these tools with the ball on the end, or something with a rounded end that's similar. You could use the end of a paintbrush. You know, it just has to have a round end like this. So it can be any round end that you can find in your house. And a sponge or like a foam pad. Okay, I don't have anything foam pad like, so I'm just going to use the sponge. It works fine. And then also you have to think about what you want to do in the middle of your flower. Okay, I use these little stamens that you can get off of Amazon, but you could also use a bead, a rhinestone, a paint. You could use like those Nuvo drops. I think those are used for that all the time. You could use a little tiny bit of thread, anything, a tiny pom-pom, whatever you have, whatever you want to use. A brad would be amazing, because then you could just attach it to stuff with a brad. So, you know, anything that you want to use for the middle is fine. Paint, anything. Okay, it doesn't matter. You just need something in the middle, right, to make it look kind of like a flower. I'm going to try to approximate the middle here with this. It's extremely difficult because this is not the greatest punch, but it makes a nice tiny hole in the middle for this stamen thing to go through. Okay, so basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to punch my hole first because I found it's much easier to do it that way from trial and error. Okay, and then what you're going to do is you're just going to push down on this into the sponge or foam pad or whatever you have, and you're just going to make a circle. I have thumb pain, so it's easier for me to do it like this. Okay, and then you'll see the sides are starting to come up. You can also pull it in like this from each petal. The more you work it, the more tattered it gets, and the better it looks, in my opinion. So now you have the little flower here, just like that. It's just like a little cup almost. You can squish it around a little bit if you wanted to stress it up. It's completely up to you if you want to do that. You know, and then all you need to do is put your center in. So whatever your center, your center method is going to be, you just do that. So these, I'm just going to twist this and pull it through. So I have 2 there. And just put that in there just like that. Okay. And then I'm just going to put a dot of glue on the back. I know, I don't love hot glue, but boy, am I using it a lot for this one. But yeah, this makes a nice sturdy flower. Okay. And definitely put it on the back. Don't put it on the front because it will not look nice if you have a bunch of glue in your flower. And then you can just kind of goof around with your flower as much as you want to get it exactly how you want it to be. But you know, the initial like pushing and shaping with the round edge of the tool is going to just give you that cup shape that you want. The other thing that you can do if you would like, and you are okay with living on the edge here, is you can spray this with a little bit of water. Okay, I'm just going to grab this is my little mini mister. This thing sprays very fine, which is what you want, okay, because you don't want to get this super wet because it is paper that is full of ink. Okay, I'm going to punch my hole first. I almost forgot. And you do not want to have to do this afterwards if you wet it. Okay, so I've got my hole there. Spray it on the back. Okay, so that's the back. I'm just going to do like, oops. There we go. One quick spray. I'm going to wipe it up so I don't get it on anything else. Flip it over onto your little pad here. And then you're just going to whoop. I find the circular motion in the middle here is the most effective. If you wet it, I feel like it gets it more tattered and it holds its shape really nicely when it dries. I could be making that up. I don't know, but you know, and then so you can just make it however you want it. And then you're just going to pop the little center in, whether that's going to be a rhinestone, a flat back pearl, any sort of charm. Like there's just so many things you could use for the middles of these, just whatever you can find. I was wishing, I do not have any of that rock candy distressed glitter that Tim Holtz has. I was thinking that would be so cool in the center of this, especially if you colored it with alcohol ink. But alas, I don't have any, and I don't even know when I would color something with alcohol ink right now, but okay, so I'm just going to pull this through, try not to get it on my fingers, which always happens. You could hold these with squeezers or tweezers. That might help. Just so that I could mess with these for days. I made so many of these today. Okay, so that's the flowers. Hopefully that was enough. If you guys need me to do like another video where it's just more in depth of me making like 20 of everything, just let me know. All right, so now I'm going to show you the bats, okay? So this is how a bat looks like after it's been shaped. And this is what it looks like when it's flat. Okay, now this just gives it a little bit of lift so that when you put it on your bookcase, it's actually going to be like more 3D. It's not going to be flat. You know what I mean? All right, so the way that you do that is pretty easy to do. Okay, so this one's not inked, so I'm just going to put a little ink on the bottom of it because it has like a little bit of a white bit on it. Okay, all right, so you're just going to take it and you're going to put it down on your sponge, your foam pad, whatever you're using, okay? And then you're just going to go like this on each wing. So just put it down, okay? And then you're going to flip it over, okay? Put this down and then just go right down the middle of the back of the bat. Okay? And now I have a bat that like looks like it's flying, you know what I mean? And they're super fun to use and put on the what do you call it, on the bookcases when they're like this. So just a little bit like this. Like I said, you can use the end of the paintbrush, whatever you have that has like a rounded end. I don't want you guys to feel like you have to go get anything. So however, this is addicting, so I'll just give you a heads up on that one. Once you start doing these, you're like, oh my gosh, I want to make like 20 here. Okay. Okay. All right, so I'm going to go his back here, flip him over, do his wings. And the bats are like all different colors on both sides, or like different colors of gray, basically. And there's two sizes, big and little. So you can have lots of different bats if you want. If your bats are your thing, you do that. I'm just going to go down this wing. And you'll see the wings curling up as you do this. So you'll know it's working. And then you put this guy down here. Like that, and there he is. See, now we have all these like dimensional bats, which is so much better than just flat bat, you know? So there you go with these guys. I'm just gonna ink them all up. There we go. All right, so I'm going to do the bat wings, and then the center. There we go. There's another bat. Okay, so that's bats. So we're done. Okay, so now we're moving on to lanterns. There are two sizes of lanterns, big and small. Okay, now I put candles in the windows for you already. But I'm going to show you also how to do it so you can make your lantern actually glow. Okay, so basically what I'm going to do is cut these out of the center of these, so I have 4 holes instead of candles. Okay, but before I do that, I want to go over how to cut this out. Okay, so you need to score where I'm bending. Okay, so those are all the score lines, but these little tabs are important. Do not cut them off, okay? Basically what you want to do, okay, is it's going to, oops, sorry, I'm just gonna fold that there. On these score lines, the vertical ones. Okay, this is gonna come around like this and be like a box, okay? And then these all fold in. But you need to only cut these little gray squares on one side, okay? It doesn't really matter which side you're cutting them on, as long as you only cut them on one side. So don't cut them off. Okay, so now you're cutting, because those are going to be your tabs that allow this to fold in like this all the way around. Okay, so let's do that now. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm just going to like dab glue like onto each one of these, and then I put too much glue. Hold that for a second. Whoops. I would not use hot glue for this part. Okay, so you're just going to hold that. Until you know, you can just kind of feel the glue once it takes. Just like a dot of glue. Okay, and then, all right, bring this all the way around. Okay, and then your last one, you're gonna glue this tab and this tab. Okay, oops, I should have probably pre-bent this. The other ones you don't really need to bend, but okay, so I'm gonna dab a glue on that, dab a glue on this. Okay, and then we're gonna hold this all together while it does its thing. Okay. Okay, all right. Now, this is the base here, okay? So, what you're gonna do for this part here is you're gonna snip it right here on this line and on this line, and this line, okay? That way, when you fold everything up and together, you'll have little tabs that will go. Oops, oh, I was like, did I forget to score that? But no, it's okay. Okay, so now you have, see how you have these little tabbies now? And then those will just help you make your little base here. Okay, so basically these are gonna just fold inside like this. I'm gonna do a second one, so don't stress out if this is like a little bit confusing. Okay, and then you're gonna fold that up like that, okay? And then, so all you need to do here is just put the two, like a dot here, oops, a dot here, and a very tiny dot here, okay? And then we're just gonna push this up and push these two up. And it's just gonna make like a little box bottom, okay? I know everything in this kit is very tiny and a little bit fiddly, but you know, it's the bookcase, is, you know, it's like on scale with the bookcase, so that's why. All right, so I'm just gonna get these two folded in while I am kind of holding the other side, and then I'm gonna dot my glue on both of these and push it in. Okay, so I dot, oops, and a dot of glue there, and then just push this up and in. And now you have just like a little base for your lantern. Okay, so here we go, here we go, here we go. I don't want to let go of it too soon. Okay, I push that in. You could use a clip too if you want. Okay, so this goes over this like this. It is a very tight fit. okay, so it doesn't come out. So you may have to push it in to get it to fit. Oops. By push it in, I mean push in the sides like this to get it to go in. Okay, and when you do that, it makes it a whole lot easier to get it in there. Whoops, now I got it all the way in there. Okay. All right, so it goes in there like that. If you don't want to put the bottom in, don't worry about it. You don't have to. Okay, it doesn't matter one way or the other. Okay, so now with this part here, hopefully I didn't glue this down. I think I might have by accident. You can glue these all down like this, okay? Or you can have them coming up like this. Since I already glued this one down, we'll glue this one down and we won't glue the next one down. I must have gotten a little glue happy on the other side there. All right, so now you have like a little tiny lantern, okay? Now let's do one with windows, okay? So I'm gonna get the other one that's the same size and do this one, okay? Okay, now we're going to do the one with windows. I took the candles out of that one with an X-Acto knife. It wasn't as hard to do that as it was like if you did the frames for the freebie, for the Wraithwood freebie. That took a lot more skill with the X-Acto knife. This was pretty easy because it's small, so it's a lot less can go wrong. You know what I mean? All right, so I'm just putting a little bit of ink in the windows. Okay, for the windows you could put acetate. I'm gonna put vellum. It could be whatever you want it to be. So I think, is this about 1/2 inch? Yeah, okay, it is. So you want this to be a little bit bigger than 1/2 inch. It's gonna put me at about 3/4 of an inch. I'm just folding this here to give myself a cutting guideline. It just needs to be slightly bigger than this window, okay? And not all my windows are exactly the same size. Right, so I'm just gonna cut off a piece of this vellum. Okay. If I had a scrap piece of vellum, I would have used it, but I didn't, so. Okay, and then I'm just gonna kind of use this as my guide. My fingers are they're covered in ink and glue. All right, okay. So now what I'm gonna do is just put some glue around the edge of this. Okay, and let's see here. Okay, so a little bit around the outside here. Okay, and then I'm gonna put my vellum on there. And then I'm going to do the same thing all the way down. Okay. Oops, I got to cut myself. I should have probably just cut all 4, huh? Okay. Okay, and here is 4. Alright, so now I'm just going to go all the way down. I'm just going to put the glue, just like, that was not very good. Okay, and now this one here. And we'll do the last one. There we go. Okay, so now I have all my little these on here. I'm just gonna, my glue will dry clear, but I just want to make sure if I have any, you know, excess on there, I'm just gonna get it off now. I have a little excess piece of paper there. Okay. All right, now I'm going to go through the assembly here with this. I'm just gonna put all my little pieces here to the side. Okay. Oh, okay, so we're gonna cut these. Okay, so just cut on one side. Okay, and then we're just gonna bring these all around and we're just gonna glue these guys together one at a time. Oh, if you've, oh, I pre-scored. You're just gonna wanna bend on your score lines here. Whoops, that was not a great line. Okay, so just pre-bend on your score lines, just so you have everything. This is a little floppier, this one's a little floppier because of the windows. So, okay, so I'm gonna just go ahead and put a little bit of glue on that one, and then we're gonna push these two together. And then we're just gonna go right down the line here. Okay, this one I want to make sure I don't glue my tabs down. Right, so now I'm going to do the last one, so I need the connector tab as well as the top tab. And I'm just going to kind of try to fit these guys together. I think I forgot to bend this one ahead of time. There we go. All right, let's just push these guys in. Whoa. It is a little bit floppier without the other ones there. I'm going to add a little bit more glue to that too, because I don't think it's going to stick. Let's see if I got like anything resembling a square here. Okay, now this one I have the tops up. So if you wanted to, you could put two of them down and then have two of them up like this if you wanted to. It's kind of up to you. I am going to glue mine down again, so it's like this, only because of the bookshelf, and I want to make sure everything fits, so I don't want these to be too tall. Okay, so I'm just going to glue all of these guys down, one on top of the other. Okay, let's let that dry for a second, and let's just fold this guy. Okay, so we're gonna do the same thing as we did before. Okay, so there's a little line here and a little line here, so those are the ones you snip. Okay, and then do the same thing on the other side. Ooh. Okay, and we're just gonna fold these guys up, including the tabs. Fold everything up and in. Okay, and then once I have all this folded up, I'm just gonna start on this side, and I'm gonna just do this tab with a dab, just like literally a dab. push this up, and then push these two together. And the same thing over here. I just realized I forgot about decorating our books. Maybe we could do that in the last video. Okay, so I'm going to do this here, this here. I have glue on my tip here. Okay, so just until you have the box all set here. Okay, now for this, I have a couple of little knickknacks or bits and pieces that are not particularly associated with this. Like, it's not part of this kit because I can't give you a light in the kit, unfortunately. I would if I could, but I can't. But I'm going to show you what you can do if you want to get a light for it. Okay, this is a balloon light, and you can get them on Amazon. I will link them below. They are extremely fun. If you have kids, even if they are older, say 18, they will still love them and try to take them and play with them. So, you just pull this out, right? And then this just goes into the lantern, like that. Okay, so you can put that in the lantern here, and then you can put your base in so that your little light doesn't fall out. And then if you want to turn the light out, unfortunately, the only way to do that is to, oh my God, that won't go in there. The only way is to, you have to get the light out, you know. Okay, let's try this again. I'm not super great at this, but there we go. I got it, see? But now it has a light in there, right? And so I think it's going to look pretty cool on our bookshelf. So you have two options here. You have the one with the light, or you have the one just with the candle on it already. So it can go either way. Okay, so I'm going to put those guys aside there. And I think for ephemera, like that we have to build, oh wait, we have 2 more pieces to build and then we're done, okay? And then we can move on to the next thing. Okay, so before we're done with this, we just have to put these together. Okay, so now this one here, you just score up from these gaps, okay? And then there's a little tabby on the side you can just fold over, and you just fold these guys down. Okay, I didn't bother to score this. They just kind of fold together. Okay, so what we're going to do is, this is going to be like our little flower vase, if you would like to have a flower vase. So basically, we just have to roll this guy up and just glue the tabs all together, okay? So what I'm going to do actually is, I'm going to do this tab here first. I probably should have done that with the bone folder because I just folded it over with my fingers. Okay. All right, so now I'm just going to do that here. Glue. Here. I'm just going to hold that down for a second so that sticks. Make sure it's kind of even at the top. It's a very small tab. I'm just going to lay this down here. And I'm just going to go over this really quickly. Okay, so I'm going to turn this upside down and do these tabs. So I'm just going to put a dot of glue on each one of these and fold the last one over. Okay, I'm just going to press it down on the table here to kind of get that going. All right, now check that out. And we got a tiny little, oops, actually I think I'm going to use black for this one. We have a tiny little vase with a little flat bottom. Okay, and now then you do another little like letter holder type situation. I don't know what you would call this, but I thought it would be cute to have something like this, like to put stuff in, you know? I'm gonna go ahead and ink this here while I'm thinking about it. And then it was kind of crazy to try to think of like, well, okay, what can we make? You know what I mean? Okay, so here we go. So now we're gonna do these tabs. Doop. Okay, and then we're gonna fold this up and these together. So there's a lot of just folding up and folding together type situation in this whole project. Just like a lot of different stuff like that. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to push these in towards the middle just to make it a little easier to get them up. A little bit of glue, a little bit of glue. Okay, now I'm going to fold these up. Okay, now I'm going to put this down here like this, just so I can press on the little sides and stuff. Okay, so look at that. Now we have two cute little holders for our bookshelf to hold our stuff. Now you can put anything in these. You don't have to put, you know, flowers in this one and papers in this one. It's up to you. Okay, so that is it for this video. So this video we did books, we did bats, we did flowers, we did lanterns here, and we did our little holder thingies. Did I leave anything out? I hope not. Okay, so I'll see you guys in the next video for assembly and styling our bookshelf. So very exciting. I will see you in the next video.